Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast. I'm Robert Scrivener.
And I'm Gayla Scrivener.
We left the 9-to-5 grind, downsized, and our goal is to have freedom to live and to work from just about anywhere.
Robert.
Yes.
I cannot believe it's been 6 years.
It has been 6 years, 6 whole years. It just went right by us a while ago.
6 years of living in an RV.
Full time.
I realized that October had
Slipped by us.
And October 1st was our official
Nomadaversary.
October 1st, 2011 is when we officially moved into our RV and said bye-bye to
Adios.
like a foundation house.
Brick and mortar.
Now, we had a past episode talking about our rental property. We still have that.
Yeah.
We used to live in that house a long time ago, but we converted it to a rental property. And we were living in Florida at the time, and we sold everything, pretty much everything, and moved into our 38-foot Alpha Sia. That's it. It's a diesel pusher.
Yep. Yeah, we bought it down there, and I've had it ever since.
Yeah. Well, I thought that it would be a good little episode to talk about a few highlights of our RV living so far and do a little bit of reminiscing. But I know that several people kind of think we're crazy.
Oh, we still are. Some people think.
And maybe they're right.
They could be right.
They could be.
They are.
We're kind of quirky.
Some of them would want to do what we do.
Some people are envious.
Envious. That's the word I was looking for.
That is the word. They're envious, and they tell us that they have to wait till they retire before they can
I say,
do
why
what we
wait?
do. Exactly.
We might not retire, but
I think no matter our age, we will need
we get
to work
around
somehow.
better now than we would in our 70s. But the way we're going,
you watch.
Yeah, you're going to be spry.
I am going to be spry and
feisty.
So just watch out.
Got my eye on you.
You just have one eye?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Well, let's get started, and I'm going to ask you, what is the biggest thing that you've learned by living in an RV?
Slow down.
Me too. That's
you don't
what
have to
I
get
feel.
there. You don't have to get there as soon as you think, hurry up and get there. You're in an RV. You're living in an RV full time. Slow down.
When we first met and started traveling just a little bit, and we were in our little Mazda. And we'd take weekend trips.
Hurry up, get there. Hurry up, get back.
It was fast.
It was 3 days from Missouri down to Carlsbad Caverns.
And we went all the way.
Back.
No,
and back.
We went all the way past Carlsbad Cavern. Wasn't that when we went to El Paso?
Well, Carlsbad's in New Mexico. El Paso's in Texas.
Oh.
You're geographically challenged still.
I am still. But that was one.
It was a long trip.
That was the same trip.
It was the same trip. Lost the keys.
Yes, we did lose the
Roswell.
keys. At Roswell. It was the aliens that took them. And
couldn't find them periodically there for a moment.
Yeah, it was a good long 20-minute looking for.
It was in your pocket.
No, not in my pocket.
Where were they?
Well,
Oh, you'd stuck them in a belt loop.
I have to tell you kind of spoiled it, but that story, we were looking around a little gift shop, and we left the gift shop to start the car, and we couldn't find the keys.
Couldn't get in.
And we went back to the gift shop and retraced our steps.
Looked around on the floor.
Looked around. I patted my pants to see, okay, I don't have them in my pocket. I don't have them in my, I don't know what shirt I was wearing, if it had pockets or anything. And they weren't in my purse. I just couldn't find them. And you didn't have them.
No.
After 20 minutes of looking, I realized that they were hooked on my, not my belt loop, but my waistband.
You tucked them in.
I tucked them in.
Mm.
You were not a bit pleased, but you held in your emotions, and now we can joke about it.
I sucked it up and I bit my tongue.
Yes, that was a long time ago. That was way before we got married and started living in the RV. So
Slow down.
slow down. Our maiden journey in the RV was from Florida to Colorado.
Yes, that was the first trip
And
ever in the RV.
I needed to get to Colorado for work. At the time, I was working for a company and needed to get to Colorado to around the Boulder area. And we are in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we had stopped in Missouri to visit with family for a few days and then get out to Colorado. But do you remember how long that trip was?
10 days total trip.
To get out there, or like round
trip.
That was way too fast.
Way too fast. 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back. Well, it was more than 2 days to get back. 3 days to get back.
We
didn't make it there in 2 days. We planned 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back. It took us 3 days to get there and 3 days to get back, with 4 days there.
I needed to work from the road, and we had our office set up in a little bit different configuration than we do now, but I would try to work. I'd have you stop, and I'd need to do something with the phones and get up onto the computer periodically. But I had this feeling of hurry up and go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the mentality. Got to get to the destination. Don't worry about, the journey.
Just get there.
And that trip taught me a big lesson to slow down and don't be so stressed out, because I was stressing myself out.
And then,
well, we went up to Kansas City to go across
I-70, because that's the quick way.
That's the quick
way. You can drive 70 miles an hour to get there.
And around, I want to say Topeka, wasn't it?
Yep.
We had a flat tire.
On the front.
On the big ol' RV.
On a Sunday morning.
Sunday morning at really early in the morning.
7 o'clock.
And that was where, what can you do? But you noticed it when we were at a toll booth.
Slowing down to pay for a toll booth.
And you heard, and you're like, oh, no. And
that ain't good.
We pulled off at the first rest stop, and those are semi-truck tires. They're huge.
Same size as a semi-truck.
And there's no spare. There's no place for a spare.
And I don't have tools to take that big of a tire off.
Right. Well, we have roadside assistance with our, for our RV, and so we made the calls and everything, and we were taken care of, but we just needed to sit and just wait. And that was a great lesson. And I learned that things are going to be okay, and slowing down and kind of
just leave earlier.
Or leave earlier, but things work out, and you can adjust your plans. And in hindsight, looking back, we did not need to take 10 days. We could have taken longer. I mean, it was just
you had your mindset of I'm going to be gone this long.
Mm-hmm. And I think I've come a long way. I know with work and being able to work from anywhere, trying to achieve that we have to make plans, but also be flexible enough for adjustments, and try not to get our deadlines so tight.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
Close together.
And just plan ahead on what projects we have and when the deadlines are, and when things go wrong. Not if things go wrong, but when things go wrong.
Because they will.
They will, but have a good attitude about it, and it challenges you to think differently.
Don't get mad.
Don't get mad.
It happens.
It just does. It does. So we're on the same page that we both learned how to slow down.
Yes.
That might irritate some people.
Well, yeah. I've got 2 weeks. 2 weeks all I got for vacation. How am I going to cram it in? That's, yeah.
I'm glad that we don't have that to worry about.
Cram everything in 2 weeks. That's no fun.
This year,
yes,
I think that, well, we had on purpose not planned very many trips.
we did a little ones here.
We
and there.
did little ones.
Overnighters.
And a couple of weeks versus a couple of months. And I think we've kind of missed it. We've kind of missed the moving around type thing. But that's certainly trying to get back in time for a particular date is not our style anymore.
No. Take our work with us. Work from anywhere.
Although next
Plan
year...
around the internet and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got to have internet to work.
Although next year, when we are out west in end of April into May, we do have to be back by May 30th.
Yeah. Very important date.
Very important date. My daughter would kill me if we weren't there for her wedding. She'd
probably kill me because I'll be driving.
Yes, she would kill you. So
you have to have her back by this date.
You do not want the wrath of Megan.
No.
So, what is your favorite trip so far?
I'd like to say all of them.
They're all pretty special in their own way.
One that sticks out would be the Outer Banks, East Coast up through Vermont.
That was, I thought, a nice epic trip.
It was 2 months long, at least. Started out in Florida and went up the East Coast and got on the Outer Banks, took the ferry out there, stayed a couple days, and then went up the Outer Banks to Kill Devil Hills.
Ooh, and
Wright Brothers Memorial.
We were in North Carolina or South Carolina, and we had a Mexican dinner that you said tasted like Christmas.
Oh, that was south of the border.
Was that?
No, that was in North Carolina. North Carolina at Moorhead, I think it was.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
I liked on our trip that we boondocked on the beaches there, and there were sand dunes.
Ocracoke.
And we walked over the sand dunes with the dogs, and there were all those crabs.
Yes.
And we also had the opportunity to see baby turtles.
Little sea turtles.
Tortoises. Going out to
loose.
sea. And for all the time that we had spent in Florida, we had never seen the hatching of the turtles, and so I was so excited.
That was a good, memorable one.
And
then we got to the Dismal Swamp.
First, we were on a ferry.
That was a tight spot. Driving the RV onto a ferry, pulling the Jeep, and that was a tight spot.
That was so much fun, though. I mean, it was quite the experience. And kept driving up there, and, I'm not sure if our listeners know that I make homemade soap.
Well, they do now.
They do now. And one of the ingredients for homemade soap is lye. And it's harder and harder to get lye for the ingredient, and it is very dangerous type chemical. And I have these little lye pellet type things that I get. I used to get at Ace Hardware. Sometimes I can get it at True Value.
And you can still find it every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not locked up behind the counter.
Yeah, that's true. But I keep all my soap making supplies in the very top of the RV in the overhead compartments. And we were getting gas somewhere up on the East Coast.
Northern North Carolina.
And you hit what seemed to be a little bump, but it made that huge vehicle just
hit a curb coming out of the gas station that was probably about 3-4 inches tall. And when the back wheel dropped off of it, it rocked the top part of the RV.
Oh my goodness. Things just came
Out of the cabinets.
everywhere. And what had happened was that my soap making supplies crashed down to the ground, and there was one of our containers of lye that spilled everywhere.
In the carpet.
And we had to stop, and we stopped at the Dismal Swamp. But I gathered the dogs. The dogs like to sleep. They love to travel, and they're usually around the couch or around my feet, and just hanging out. Well, I got them and put them in their cages, I believe, because I did not. I mean, that lye could have been deadly for them.
It heats up whenever it gets with liquid, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does.
It'll burn.
And we stopped. I just like the name Dismal Swamp.
Yeah, that was our turning point of the trip, too.
That was.
Are we going to go north, or are we going to stay here?
Yeah, we did not have a particular itinerary.
No.
And that was another lesson of, hey, let's slow down and just mosey.
Yeah,
And
that taught us to slow down more.
Work a few days, kind of decide. Just let's not have a true itinerary. We know we need to be in Missouri, then over somewhere else.
Take a month to get there.
Mm-hmm. And so we were at the Dismal Swamp, and we cleaned and cleaned and cleaned.
Vacuumed.
And then cleaned some more.
And then vacuumed some more.
And we cleaned that lye up, and that was the turning point. We decided instead of going west, we continued north, didn't we?
Yep, went on up through Jersey and New York. And
where are you from?
And we hit. We went through Delaware too. Yeah, Maryland, Chesapeake Bay Bridge, backing way up.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tight spot. That's one of my probably most memorable spots.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Was
Yeah.
what was your most memorable moment?
We're in a tight spot there. As Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel there goes between Virginia, I believe, and Maryland.
Well, I had gone there years and years and years ago, pre-Robert, PR.
Yep.
And when I had gone, it was a 2-lane. And what it is a bridge and then a tunnel under the water, then a bridge and then tunnel under the water. And the tunnel is there so that big
Naval ships
can go in and out, and there's not the drawbridges.
Yeah, have to wait on it.
Exactly. And it's several miles. I don't remember.
1 mile under, 1 mile up, or several miles above. But the underwater part is 1 mile, and it does that twice.
And
not 1 mile deep.
Right.
Just 1 mile underwater.
And now it's 4-lane, so that's pretty cool. And I thought, oh, Robert, you need to see this.
Need to see it.
And
it looked cool on the interwebs.
Yeah, and we're in the RV, and we're towing the Jeep. And we get there, and we see signs that says buses welcome.
Tour bus friendly.
We are as big as a tour bus.
At least.
I said, we need to go to the gift shop. We've got to get a souvenir, get a patch or something. And so you pulled in, and we got a snack. We got our little souvenir, and we went back out.
And it was right before they closed, too.
Exactly.
So we rushed in and rushed out.
And you could not get out.
No.
There was no... First of all, I would think if it's tour bus friendly, that there would be some sort of circle around the place.
Or a parking lot big enough to turn it around in.
No. You had to back up.
It's like Austin Powers going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But we had the Jeep hooked on the back of it, so it could only go back so far.
And you started backing up, and we did jackknife.
Oh, yeah. Front of the bumper on the Jeep's touching the back bumper on the RV.
And all I have to say is thank goodness the parking lot was fairly empty. We did disrupt some of the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some park ranger or somebody
He was
there.
not happy,
He wasn't happy with us.
but he didn't help me any
You
either.
weren't happy. It was dark.
It was dark. Flashlight holding. I thanked him when we went on our way.
You unhooked the Jeep. The best thing that we could do was unhook the Jeep, and it was a very stressful moment. I knew you were just really, really stressed out.
I was not happy.
No, you were not happy. And we disconnected the Jeep. You did your Austin Powers moves, and then we got out and drove to
Across the Bay Bridge Tunnel to the other side.
Yeah, I drove the Jeep because we didn't reconnect it until we were on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And the top of the tunnel was pretty close to the top of the...
It was 13 foot 6 inches high, and we were 12 foot 9, so whatever that is, 8 inches difference.
You were ducking your head, weren't you?
9 inches difference, yeah. I was white knuckling it.
And we got to the other side, being dark and everything, and we had broke the tow bar just slightly, or bent it.
It wouldn't lock into position.
And so we knew we had to replace that.
Had to replace the tow bar.
But
Found it in Jersey.
But we did have to use it for a little bit, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And we were kind of nervous about that.
Yes, we were.
And we started driving down the road a little bit more, and you were still kind of tense, but I think that you were getting a little bit better, and I found that it was time to say, oh boy, we are in a tight spot.
Yeah, we were.
I like to reference that movie.
Oh, that's a wonderful movie.
If you know what movie we're talking about, you should email us.
That's right.
At podcast@beenthere.doingthat.com.
Could be a prize involved.
Ooh.
There we go.
All right.
Could be a prize involved.
Could be. Well, I like that trip, too. I think that's one of my favorite trips because it took so long. And we got up to Vermont, and my aunt and uncle were RVing in Canada.
Newfoundland, I thought.
I think so, with some friends.
They were coming back from that way.
And when we were in Vermont, which we got to stay for several days.
A week.
A week
At least
or
a
so.
week. And by the way, that's my favorite pizza place
Ever.
is in West Glover, Vermont.
And that was?
Parker Pie Company.
It's an amazing place. And we have friends in Florida that still own a sled repair shop up in Vermont, in Irisburg.
Mm-hmm. Small, quaint town.
And their son was still living up there at the time. Now he's since moved to Florida, but at the time he set us up at his parents' shop, and we were the talk of the town.
Yeah, that was...
Because Irisburg is not that big.
No, and only phone receptions by Ray's Meat Market.
Yeah.
Standing by the pole.
We enjoyed that, and my aunt and uncle came, drove through, and they stayed next to us for a couple of days, and we took them to Parker Pie.
We ate there, I think, 3 times or 4 times in a week.
Yeah, maybe.
There's more places to eat than there, but we chose that one because it was good.
Yeah, and you go on the back dirt roads.
Yeah, only accessible by dirt roads.
Yeah, I love it.
At least that's the way we went.
At least that's... Oh, we didn't know any better. And we thought we passed into Canada during that trip, but I don't,
We saw Canada.
Yeah.
Several times. Thought we was in it several times.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't.
And then we were done in Vermont, and we did some hiking in New Hampshire a little bit. I just love that, and I want to go back there. Not at the exact places, but...
We did the White Mountains is where we were.
And we then left there and we started our way...
Across New York.
And...
Pennsylvania, Erie. We stayed up around the Great Lakes. Met up Ohio. Driving into a toll booth in Ohio, the mirrors on the side of the RV probably had a ½ inch on each side before they would have scraped.
Yeah.
That was a close one, too.
And we met up with some other people that we had
In
met
Toledo.
in Toledo. The Rogakis.
The Rogakis.
Love them. They're fun. And then we went to, Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah. We'll back up. We did go to Niagara Falls. Had black squirrels there.
Yeah. And the funniest thing.
What's that?
I remember, we go up to Niagara Falls and you look at the falls and you're like, thought it'd be bigger.
I did. I thought it would be bigger. I was not impressed with Niagara Falls. I'll just say it.
Yeah, we couldn't go over to the Canada side because we don't have passports, but maybe next time.
Yeah.
But you're not impressed, so we may
I'm
never
not
go
impressed,
there.
so we probably won't go there.
I really like that we, on our way to Missouri, because we wanted to visit family in Missouri, we met up with my brother, who lives outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
And
I'd been on the outskirts of Chicago, but I'd never been downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And that
was kind of neat. We took a train in.
And we got to stay there several days. So when I was there for training.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get to tour around much.
And I hadn't seen my brother for a long, long time. And that was the first time you met my brother and sister-in-law. Correct. So that was a fun trip. So I think that I'm in agreement that was my favorite trip in the RV. I have some other favorite trips, but that was my favorite trip in the RV.
Yeah. I liked anything we did in Colorado. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
And up through Wyoming.
Well, you told your most memorable moment. That was, we're in a tight spot.
You kind of told it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you were not elaborating enough.
Well, probably. I quick straight to the point. I'm about the destination on my storytelling, not the journey.
Well, you need to go
with
the journey.
I need to slow down.
Learn that lesson.
Okay.
Do you know what my most memorable moment was?
What was that?
We're in Colorado, and it was probably 11 below zero.
Yeah.
And I
know where you're going.
We were outside on BLM land. I believe we were on BML, blah, blah, can't even say that.
Bureau of Land Management.
Yes, that kind. And weren't we were outside of...
Canyon City.
Thank you, Canyon City.
I'm a mind reader.
You are. And it was the middle of the night, the dogs had to go out.
Highway 9.
And we had the generator going and stuff, but... We had to go outside, and I made you go outside with me because it was cold.
It was cold, and we wanted to get the dogs to get their business done and get back in where it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold.
Went outside, and I had never seen so many stars in my entire life.
And it was quiet.
It was quiet.
Eerie quiet.
Eerie quiet. But we must have turned off the generator for a moment or something.
Something. Give it a break.
And because I just remember being so quiet, no animals around. It was cold.
Yeah.
And that many stars. It was no moon. It was all stars.
Yeah, it was nice.
And
I'd like to see that again.
Me too.
Maybe not 11 below zero, but I'll take it. If that's the way I got to see it.
I think that was... that experience of being in wintertime in the RV in Colorado, that was good times.
Good learning.
Times.
Good learning. About caught my foot on fire with the hairdryer.
Who knew? Who knew that a hairdryer could catch a shoe on fire?
Yeah, now we know.
Robert?
Yeah.
Do you have regrets?
No, absolutely none. Absolutely none. Only thing I wish we could have done it earlier, but when we did it, it was good timing.
It was good timing.
It was perfect timing
for us because Megan had just graduated high school.
Yep.
And she was moving away, and it's just you and me.
Yep.
And the wiener dogs, the wandering wieners.
Yeah.
The only regret that I have may have been our choice of work camping experience a few years ago. But then in hindsight, Well, the reason why I regret it, I think that it took a half a year away from our business growth.
Mm-hmm.
And we focused on that instead of focusing on growing our business. And on the upside, though, we met some great people, and we learned some things about us and what our capabilities are for growing our business. And we've learned what to look for
When we want to do it again.
And so I get that's the only regret I have, but there was some positive things. I try not to have regrets.
We still have people from that work camping experience we still communicate with.
Yeah, we're friends with, and that's a good thing. So I guess regret is a bad word, because we seldom have regrets. They're all learning experiences.
Yeah. What to do different, what not to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the best part of living in an RV?
You only have a limited number of beds.
Elaborate.
Not too many people want to spend the night with you.
That's true. We don't have very many sleepover guests.
And well, if they want to take a shower, it's usually a quick shower. So hot water tank's only so big.
It's 10 gallons, isn't it?
10 gallon. And that's big for an RV.
It sure is.
6 gallons is your other option.
And
so that's one of my best part of, not too many people spend the night, and if they do, that's usually 2 or 3 nights, and then they're gone.
You know what I think is the best part is that we have to be more careful of what we buy, and we don't have to get big unnecessary stuff. Now,
house is only so big.
The house is only so big. Although that some people may say big unnecessary stuff, that may be your RV,
Yeah, was RV really necessary?
Exactly. But I look at bigger spaces, bigger houses, and things like that, and
you have space, you can fill it.
It's like goldfish.
Mm-hmm.
If you put them in a bigger tank, they're going to grow bigger.
Yeah.
You're going to have small goldfish in a small tank. And if you have a big pond, you're going to have big goldfish.
Yeah.
It's the same with stuff. And it just gets bigger and bigger. And we like to accumulate. We like our stuff, but there comes a time that we just get fed up, and it's like, okay, now we have to downsize some more. Let's get rid of.
Get rid of the clutter. Get rid of the excess stuff that we haven't used in a year or 2 or 3.
And
time to just let it go.
Well, I used to collect, wherever we went, pint glasses.
And I would get you one from wherever I went.
I like pint glasses. But living in a small space has changed what I collect. You collected and still collect patches.
Yeah.
That's a lot smaller.
Yes. and they look good on a quilt.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And so we like our collections, and we still do some of the same things, just a little bit differently. We think
Stickers are nice, You
Mm-hmm.
can always have stickers that go in they fold up nice.
Stickers fold up, they stick nice.
Yeah, they stick nice.
What are the challenges of living in an RV, Robert?
Oh, boy. I don't know.
Well, I think the biggest challenge is the maintenance.
I got one.
Okay.
It's living in an RV is not being able to go on roads that that we want to go on. So it was right for us when we started out, but now we're turning towards a different travel way. It's too big to go on the roads that we want to go on.
Right. That's why we bought the rooftop tent.
Yeah, so we can go downsize even more, get more remote, away from the RV parks, and more remote boondocking, tent camping, rooftop tent.
Well, the
type
maintenance on a big beast like
Yes.
that is sometimes it just is such a downer.
Yeah, oil change is no fun,
Yeah.
and I don't do it. It's just one of those things. It's
You have to take it in.
have to take it in somewhere, and it's a lot of oil. It is a diesel pusher. They have a lot of oil, and and it costs an arm and a leg to have it done.
Mm-hmm.
Just no fun.
And I like, well,
there's not much maintenance that I can do on it.
right,
You know,
yourself.
it's winterizing. It's about the only thing that, can maintain and do stuff yourself. Clean out the filters, and that's about it. Any other thing, I'd just take it to a dealership or a repair place for maintenance.
I think that the challenge of all those experiences of you driving, because I only have driven the RV a few
Couple
miles.
100 miles, I'd say. You drove in Texas and you've drove in Georgia.
And that's been 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the first year that we
Yeah.
had the RV, and you were nervous
I still don't sleep when you drive.
Well, that's true. However,
That's probably why I drive all the time.
all the miles, and it for us, I like the small space, and I think if we bought a house, moved out of the RV, and we can do that at any time. I'm just not wanting to do that right now.
Yeah.
But if we had a house, I would want a small house, because it stresses me out to think to fill.
A big house.
Yeah, even the house that we have for rental, that's
Good size house.
a good size house.
It's average size, but it's still a big.
For me, I want it small. I don't, could be one of those tiny houses or what have you, but right now for us, I like the RV. We're moved into it, although I'd like to sell it someday.
Downsize even more.
Exactly. Because
Class C or Class B is even looking good.
that's our ultimate goal, is to have a small Class C or a little bit larger Class B. No?
No, that's going the wrong way. Class B is small.
I know, but they make a little bit like a Super B.
A Super B.
Yeah.
So a Super B.
I know what I'm talking about. A little bit bigger B, which is a
Class
Super B.
or you can have a C.
A smaller C.
A smaller C.
So it's about the same size.
Yeah. You want a B plus then.
A B plus. Yeah.
B plus. Good.
Because we want to go up to Alaska, up through Canada, take a really long trip, and I'm concerned about the rooftop tent and bears.
You think it would be a soft taco?
I do. Well, or that it's going to be a little bit cooler, depending on the time of year. And if we
snuggle
go,
well.
I know you do, but I'd like to take the dogs. Can't really
I see where
do
you're going
that.
with this. Yep. Can't take the dogs in a soft-sided tent to Alaska.
No, in the Jeep, it's just too small.
Just too small. So we need to get on board with Land Cruiser.
All right.
Yeah.
We have different vehicles in mind. We're not going to be in these two vehicles forever. But we do want to stay small and mobile for the next few years.
Yes.
I don't have an end in mind.
No, there's no end in sight.
But if for those that don't know, when we do travel, my mother takes care of the dogs.
Oh, boy.
And they love my mother.
They love your mother.
And my mother loves them. Gives her something to do. And
And they
show
gain a little bit of weight by the time we get back.
They show their love for my mom. In fact, when we come back, they'd rather be with her.
Than be with us. I see how it is.
Yeah.
We're second.
We're second. Well, we abandoned them for weeks at a time.
They forgot who we were.
They get more treats when we're gone.
Somebody say treats?
Well, would you do it all again?
Oh, yes. I was a delayed. Oh, yes. But if I'd have said it faster, I could have, would have.
Well, coulda, woulda.
Yep.
Coulda, woulda.
Yes, I would do it all over again. And there would be some things I would change. I would try to talk you out of such a big RV.
When we first bought that RV, they
liked
said...
it for the storage.
I did. I do like the Alpha for the storage. There's some setbacks, but I think that... Not setbacks, but downsides, but I think for every single RV, there's no perfect one.
No.
There's
isn't. Always something that will be a little off.
Mm-hmm. And
if 80% of your stuff works 100% of the time, you should be 100% happy.
That's the saying in the RV world, isn't it? And
if 100% of it works 100% of the time, might as well forget it. That's you can't get no happier.
Exactly.
There's always something wrong.
And little critters like to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the way that we're traveling now in the Jeep or the Subaru, but mainly the Jeep now. And I love the rooftop tent because these roads that we've been going on lately have been tiny and dirt roads.
Yeah.
And being able to have the choice of different campsites, because we could not go to certain campsites because they would only accept like anything under 35 foot, and we're 38 foot.
Yeah. Or some campsites, I just seen this recently still, reminded me of some campgrounds will not allow vehicles older than 10 years old.
That's right.
Unless you show them a picture of your vehicle, a current picture. They just don't allow older vehicles there.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
And when we were in the RV, we would stop for months at a time. Or, we were in...
Yeah, we'd be in Alabama for 3 months. And,
mm-hmm. And we were at not an RV park there, but a trailer park.
Yeah, and it was nice. And we had a good-sized lot when we stayed there.
But it just different expenses. And
not all of them, but some of them, we don't allow vehicles older 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. And for us...
That makes me bring up a question. What is vintage then? Would vintage be considered... too old? What if it's a nice restoration vintage one?
I know.
It keeps them
They're just snobs.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
It keeps them from being part of it.
There are RV parks that seem to be snobbish.
Yeah.
And want just the...
Only the newer, nicer ones.
And sure, there may be some dumpy ones out there, but... Yeah. Vintage can be nice, and I love the little not quirks, but the niches of like the tin can tourists.
Yep.
I love the teardrops. I love all these travel trailers and RVs and the whole experience of that. But for us, for our traveling, for living in an RV, just fine.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But for traveling, I'd just rather leave the big beast at home.
Yep.
And drive the Jeep and stay in the rooftop tent. But like I said, we're going to sell that big beast someday.
Yep.
And downsize even further.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can take an epic trip. And
Northwest.
Yeah. And have a safe place for our
wiener
animals.
dogs.
Our animals, yeah. They like to travel. They love to travel.
Yeah, they do. They sleep a lot when we travel. Wrap it up, Gayla.
Well,
how was this?
6 years.
6 years. Nomadaversary.
Nomadaversary. We're a month late, celebrating it.
Yeah, it slipped right by us. It's just like another month. We got to stop and reflect.
We do. And who knows? We may be doing this another 6 or so more years, or even more. Who knows?
Could be.
Well, we appreciate you listening to our ramblings and reminiscing.
Yeah.
And if you like the show, please subscribe. We certainly appreciate that.
How can they find us?
They can find us at BeenThereDoingThat.com, on Facebook.
And Instagram. Been There Doing That. I'm on it. I'm on it constantly.
I highly recommend, if you're an Instagrammer, get on there, Been There Doing That. I have an Instagram account, but I haven't been on it for so long.
You haven't posted in over a year.
Did you?
I looked you up.
You looked me up. But you're on it all
Daily.
the time.
several times, multiple times a day.
You're obsessed.
No, I call it just I really like it.
You really, really like it, yes. But so if you want more often posts, go to Instagram, because that's where
Get the pictures.
you get the pictures, because pictures worth 1,000 words.
Or more in my case.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time.
We'll catch you later.